Gary Anderson is without doubt one of dart's GOATs, but during his career he struggled with many injury setbacks that could have prevented him from winning even more major titles. He recently suffered a very concerning injury during a stream game, so let's take a look at his injury history and why the most recent issue has come at such a bad time. In early 2009, Gary, who had won 4 BDO major titles, finally decided to join the PDC after months of speculation. Ironically, Anderson made his PDC televised debut due to the illness of another player, Wayne Mardle, who was forced to withdraw from the Premier League that year due to mumps, meaning that non-Premier League players were given a chance to play challenge exhibition matches during the weeks he was absent. Gary faced John Parr in Cardiff and was able to beat the 3-time world champion 7-4, averaging 107 in the process, the highest of any player on the night. Shortly after that, Gary managed to win his first PDC title at a Welsh Players' Championship event where he beat Mervyn King in the final. In the summer of 2010, Anderson, who is now known as the Flying Scotsman, reached his first major final in the PDC, in which he lost to Phil Taylor at the UK Open. Just a month after that great run, we began to see Gary struggle with injury, but only after he made a great start to the World Match Play, beating fellow Scot Robert Thornton 10-0 to get the tournament's first whitewash win in 6 years. Ando had averaged 98 in that game, but was struggling with a shoulder injury in the background, leading many pundits to predict that he could lose his next round game to Jelle Klaasen due to his worsening condition. Jelle did indeed manage to beat Gary by a scoreline of 14-12, with both players averaging in the mid-80s. Speaking after the game, Anderson said that to get to 12 legs under the pain was a good effort. We next saw Gary struggle with a health issue at the 2012 German Darts Championship, a Eurotour event where he withdrew from his first round game against Michael Barnard after a single leg, in which he averaged just 59. The result went down as a 6-0 win for Barnard, and it was revealed in the media that Anderson had been struggling with an eye injury. He said that he was deeply worried, as it was revealed by medics that he had a problem with the tear duct in his left eye after the Flying Scotsman initially thought it was just hay fever. He added that it was a disaster as he did all the aiming with his left eye as he blocked his right eye with his darts. After a diagnosis, he was forced to withdraw from 2 Players' Championships and another Eurotour, giving him time for treatment. He eventually announced that he would make a return at the World Match Play, where he hoped that he would be back to his best. Anderson faced debutant Dean Winstanley and managed to go into the first break 5-0 off. However, he went on to lose 13-11 and averaged below 90. A few years later, Gary headed into the 2015 World Championship looking for his first world title win, but his preparation for his third round match against Cristo Reyes was disrupted as he had a poor sleep and was in pain due to toothache from an abscess. Anderson was whitewashed in the first set by Reyes, but then managed to reel off 4 sets on the spin to beat the Spaniard with a ton-topping average. He then managed to defy the pain and go on to win the tournament, taking his first world title after beating Phil Taylor in a deciding set in the final. Gary retained his world title in 2016 before going on a valiant run to the final in 2017 where he was beaten by Michael van Gerwen. Then, towards the end of 2017, he was again hampered by an injury which looked like it could have affected his 2018 Ali Pali campaign. It was first mentioned at the Players' Championship finals, where he suffered a shocking 6-3 loss to Mickey Mansell in round 1, averaging in the low 80s. Following the game, fans and pundits speculated over the issue, with Wayne Mardle saying it could have been an elbow or shoulder problem, but it was later revealed that Gary had been struggling with a strained muscle in his lower back, as well as having his mind away from darts, as his young daughter was in hospital at the time. Before we take a look at his injury hit Ali Pali campaign, don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying the video, as it really helps the channel out, and currently, only 6% of my watch time comes from subscribers. A few weeks later at Ali Pali, Gary began with good averages in comfortable wins against Jeff Smith, Paul Lim and Steve West to reach the last 8. However, towards the end of and following the West win, Ando looked to be in pain, holding his back at times. Reports stated that Gary was considering pulling out of the event due to the pain, but he then received some treatment which left him hoping to be fit. Gary did manage to play on and averaged 98, but was beaten 5-3 by Phil Taylor, meaning that he failed to reach the world final for the first time in 4 years. He considered pulling out of the 2018 Premier League due to the pain, but chose to play and instead pulled out of some UK Open qualifiers to get some further treatment and recovery. That small break paid off as he managed to overcome the injury and went on to win the UK Open for the first time a few weeks later. He also became the World Matchplay Champion for the first time later in the year. His form was looking great again, but then, at the start of 2019, he was forced to pull out of the Masters due to his back issue reappearing. It was then revealed that he had pulled out of the Premier League, a big decision which caused the PDC to have to introduce the contenders idea. Gary made his return at the UK Open, where, in his first PDC match for 3 months, he was beaten 10-8 by Steve Beaton. He then had to miss a few more events before returning to the TV winner's circle at the World Cup, where he and Peter Wright won for Scotland. However, fears of an injury returned at the World Series final, where he lost in his first game 6-1 to Danny Nopper, averaging a shocking 71. After the darts break due to COVID, Gary's injury troubles returned, as in November 2020, he pulled out of some Winter Series events due to a new injury, an issue with his knee. He struggled with that over the season, but continued to play on and managed to reach the final of the 2021 World Championship. He then went a few seasons struggling with some minor pain but no major injuries, and his form was looking on the up, with him being the only player with a ton plus average in the Players Championship events so far this year. He also won the second floor event of the year. Things were looking excellent for Gary, and many thought that he could take a TV title win this year. But then, in the 6th event of the year, he managed to reach the last 16, where he and Martin Schindler were level at 3-all, when it became clear that Gary was struggling with a shoulder issue. During the 7th leg, Anderson conceded the game, telling both the referee and Martin that he was in pain, giving Martin a walkover win. Gary looked to be in a lot of pain, but, as you've seen in this video, he's gotten over injuries before. Online Darts have now provided an update saying that Gary has pulled out of this weekend's German Darts Grand Prix Euro Tour event. The update does add that the injury is not as serious as first expected, but fans are still concerned that the injury could derail Gary's great progress. We did see a similar injury hamper Dirk van Dijvenbode's progress, but it now looks like he's getting back to his best. The situation is especially concerning considering Gary's age, but what can be said is that he absolutely made the right decision to pull out of the game rather than soldiering on and making it worse. If it's similar to the Dirk situation, we could see him have a long drop in form before slowly returning to his best. Let's hope that's the worst case scenario rather than something much worse. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications, as it really helps the channel out and it means that whenever I upload a new video you won't miss out. Also, leave a comment below letting me know what you think Gary would do in the rest of the season.